all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 27th of August. Here's everything that you need to know. First up, India's COVID-19 infections continue to soar, with 67,000 cases being added in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday. That takes the total to 32.3 lakh. Sadly, over 1,000 people died on account of COVID-19 during those 24 hours. Now, in what could be a positive development for Maharashtra-based real estate developers, the state government has decided to reduce stamp duty on real estate transactions between the 1st of September and the 31st of March next year. Between the 1st of September and the end of December, the stamp duty will be cut by 3 percentage points to 2%, and in 2021 till the end of March, this rate will stand at 3%. The move comes after several real estate lobbies asked the government to intervene and give relief to the sector, which was already sitting on huge inventories before the outbreak of the pandemic. Shifting gears and talking about the telecom sector now, data from the TRAI came out last evening for the month of May, and Reliance Jio continued to grow its subscriber base with a net addition of over 36 lakh new customers. This addition was seemingly at the cost of rivals Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea, which lost around 47 lakh customers each. As a whole, India's telecom subscriber base fell to 116.36 crore. In the automotive space, which, if you've been following the developments in the stock markets lately, has been buzzing, Maruti Suzuki's management has said that it expects sales to rebound in the second half of the current financial year as the pandemic is forcing people to consider personal mobility. In international news, watch out today for the Federal Reserve Chairman's speech at the Jackson Hole Summit, which is being held virtually this year. According to a Bloomberg report, the Fed looks likely to keep short-term interest rates near zero for 5 years or more after it adopts a new strategy for carrying out monetary policy. This new approach, according to the Bloomberg report, could be unveiled as soon as next month. In more international news, US-China tensions over the South China Sea escalated yesterday, with Beijing firing 4 missiles into the disputed waterway. Separately, the US announced trade and visa restrictions on 24 companies for their efforts to help China, according to what was said, reclaim and militarize disputed outposts in the disputed waterway. China says, meanwhile, that it has made concessions in proposing to let US regulators audit some of its most sensitive companies and is calling for direct talks to solve the dispute that threatens global markets. In an interview in Beijing yesterday, Fang Xinghai, who is vice chairman of the China Securities Regulatory Commission, said China is sincere in wanting to solve the standoff over the accounting issues. In international markets, US stocks climbed even higher overnight. The Dow and the S&P 500 ended higher by 0.3 and 1% respectively, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq jumped 1.7%. And it's a mixed start to trade in the Asia-Pacific region. The Nikkei 225 in Japan has started marginally negative, while the other two early risers had minor gains. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Hormuz. How are we looking today?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to our listeners as well. Today is the monthly options expiry of the August series, and as of closing on Wednesday, the Nifty has gained 4% this series, while the Sensex is up 3.5%. This will be the third successive FNO series gain for India's benchmark indices. The Nifty Bank, though, has been the outperformer, gaining 8% or close to 1,800 points this series. 1,400 of those have come during the last 4 trading sessions. And speaking of banks, ICICI Bank has approved the sale of over 64 lakh shares or 2% of equity of its subsidiary ICICI Securities in order to comply with minimum public shareholding requirements. The bank's stake in ICICI Securities was over 79% as of the 30th of June. And speaking of stake sales, the government has proposed to sell 15% stake in Hindustan Aeronautics through an offer for sale. The government intends to sell over 3 crore shares with an oversubscription option of another 1.6 crore shares. The floor price of 1001 rupees a share is a 15% discount to Wednesday's closing price. The offer for sale opens for non-retail investors today and for retail investors tomorrow. And as Alex mentioned to you about the temporary reduction of stamp duties in Maharashtra, the reaction to stocks like Oberoi Realty, Sunteck Realty, Godrej Properties and Kolte Patil Developers will be closely monitored. While most auto stocks were in top gear on Wednesday, Mahindra & Mahindra had a relatively quiet day. The stock, however, will be in focus today after it signed a pact with Israel's REE Automotive for electric automotive vehicles. A couple of stocks that will be in focus on the back of fundraising. Jindal Stainless will raise over 160 crore rupees through an issue of convertible equity warrants to the promoter group and Kotak's alternative investment fund. Also, Lakshmi Vilas Bank has approved raising 1000 crore rupees through issue of equity shares and 500 crore rupees through NCDs. Indraprastha Gas's June quarter results were below Bloomberg consensus estimates, so the reaction on that stock will have to be watched out for. Avanti Feeds, Himmat Singh Ka Seed, NMDC, Edelweiss and IDFC are some companies that will be reporting their results today. I will quickly highlight a couple of stocks that were buzzing in Wednesday's trade. The first one is Al-Qaeda Mines. The stock had made a 52-week low of 765 rupees in August 2019 and it ended yesterday's session with gains of 5.6% at 3,460 rupees, which is a four-fold jump from its 52-week low. And the Tata Motors is the other one which I want to highlight. It was the top gainer on the Nifty on Wednesday with gains of over 8.5%. However, the delivery buying in the stock was low with only 13% out of the total 19.5 crore shares traded on the stock marked for delivery. The SGX Nifty was little changed at the start of trading near the mark of 11,600. And you can get more details on all of these stocks in our All You Need to Know copy on BloombergQuint.com. And with that, I wish you a happy expiry day trade. And it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Harmus. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.